Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today we're going to look at the board game Nanty Narking. Nanty Narking is a reworking of that game over there, Discworld on Morkport. So this is like a Victorian England, kind of like a Dickens, Sherlock Holmes twist put to it. So there's 12 districts. Each district is numbered, and the object of the game is to win. When do you win? When you win. It's one of those type of games. So it's kind of hard to explain, but I will do my best. So in this game, you have pieces, and the pieces are broken into pawns, which are people, and buildings. And whenever you have a piece in an area, if you have the most pieces, you control the area. This is trouble. Whenever there's trouble, that means there's bickering going on, whatever, and the pawns are vulnerable for assassination. If there is no trouble, you have to make trouble, then you can assassinate other players. So, and that's to control the board. So the confusing thing about this game is, you see all this? These are your personalities. Each one of these cards has a different win condition. Like if you're Professor Moriarty, you just got to occupy up to 10 areas. That just means you got to have pieces in 10 areas. If you're Lord Belmore, Belfour, or the three lords, you got to control areas, meaning you have to have the most pieces in less areas. If you're Fagin, you just want to have trouble everywhere. He's a troublemaker. If you're Mr. De La Solas, you just want to have the most money, which I find that to be really tough. And if you're Sherlock Holmes, you win if nobody else wins when the last card of the deck is drawn. So Sherlock Holmes just wants to burn through the deck and then prevent other people from winning. It sounds confusing, but it's not. On your turn, what do? You play a card. So here's a card, okay? You see these symbols? You do all the symbols in order, but you don't have to do all the symbols. So that first symbol lets you place an agent. So if I'm yellow, I could place an agent anywhere I have an agent or adjacent. So over here, I could place an agent. Unfortunately, whenever a second agent appears in an area, in this area, trouble appears, okay? Whenever a second agent, doesn't matter if it's your own agent, whenever an agent leaves an area, the trouble leaves. That person gets blamed for all of the problems. So that's the first symbol. The second symbol is a police symbol. This could remove a piece of trouble. So I can remove trouble over there for whatever reason. And then that coin symbol is I get 1 money. And that's it. You just follow the card. So at the end of your hand, you draw back up to 5 cards. Some of the symbols, that building symbol, I can build a building. I can only build a building if I have a piece in that area and there's no building. So there's already a building here, but there can't be any trouble. So purple could build a building here. Then you pay that amount of money. And when you build a building, you get a power. So you take a card to remind you, like some of the buildings give you money, some of the buildings give you could generate agents and such and such. Sounds confusing. It's remarkably simple. And what's fun about it is you're constantly guessing what the other players are up to. Like, are you trying to you're going for money, so you're the money guy, so you're going to mess with his money. Then you find out he was just gathering money to throw you off because he's really Moriarty and he just wants to put agents all over the board. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. These are NPCs, meaning they could just come in and mess with your control of an area or burn down buildings. Then you see that green deck? That's random events. Whenever you get a symbol of this bird, it's a random event. That's the only symbol on the card. If you play the card, you have to do the random events. And the random events are never good. There's fires where buildings burn down. The grenadiers just come in and just start wrecking things. New citizens show up and throw off, like you might control an area, but they're a neutral faction and now nobody controls that area. It's a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Or you got to pay taxes. And if you can't pay your taxes, your buildings get confiscated. It's a fun game. It seems like total chaos, but it's like controlled chaos, if that makes sense. My only gripe is these cards are just so flimsy. I mean, they did a really good job on the miniatures, on the buildings. I think the board looks great, but these cards are just the cheapest quality cards. That's pretty much it. The thing is that Discworld game is super rare. So, they reskinned it. I think it's a great system. It's a great fun. So if you like Terry Pratchett, get the Discworld version. If you like pseudo Victorian. Well, it's not pseudo. It's Victorian, like fictional, with like Sherlock Holmes and Dickens characters and stuff like that. There's a Jack the Ripper card that lets you assassinate people. There's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde that lets you swap out your personality. So it's a lot of like, Victorian era fictional characters. I enjoy it. It's a good game. All right, I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Bye bye.